This is Respectfully Outrageous with Nathan and Ben.
And today we give out our seasonal awards.
Hope you enjoy. So welcome back to another episode.
Long time no see.
Yeah, very long time. But we're getting back into the swing of things now, and we're going to be talking about our awards for the season.
We're going to start with the most, I would say, valuable award, which is the MVP. So who's your MVP candidate?
So I'm looking at MVPs here, and I've got a couple that I'm thinking of.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Patrick Mahomes.
Yep.
Statistically, the guy's an animal
Right.
this season. The thing that I have against Mahomes is he's got a lot of weapons, and he really hasn't come up clutch in big games, as we've seen.
Is that his fault or is that Andy Reid?
I don't know, and because Andy Reid has a history of that as well.
Yes, he does.
Oh,
yes, Andy Reid does.
It's whatever you want to make of it, but at the same time, I don't know how much of it is he's the most valuable player. Because you got to go back to the definition of the award.
It's most
valuable player.
So it is how good your team would be without you.
Exactly. So, and I'm thinking of it, and obviously they've got with Kareem Hunt. When he was on the team, he was good.
Yeah. I don't see much of a drop off though.
I don't either, and that's part of why I'm.
I think that's good coaching, and I think that's good offensive playing to handle a complicated and messy situation and move on.
Yeah.
And
So that's what I see on the Mahomes side. With you got Tyreek Hill,
Yep.
Travis Kelce, etc. Andy Reid. And I'm looking at another man is Drew Brees. Obviously, and a lot of the same arguments with the weapons side. You've got Kamara Ingram, Michael Thomas. But other than that,
Taysom Hill.
I mean, yeah, but how much of that was he throwing to Taysom Hill? You know what I mean?
Well, the idea that you could put Taysom Hill at like a wildcat, or you could put him.
I guess that's
the more you have of Mark Ingram and Kamara and Taysom Hill, the less you have on Drew Brees' shoulders, which allows him to just go be a quarterback instead of being the LeBron of the team, the GM, the owner, the head coach, and being the quarterback of the team.
Right. I mean, yeah, that's true.
Mm.
I mean, statistically, he's going to end up, because he's not going to play this Sunday, so he'll end up with
Teddy
the highest.
Bridgewater will.
Yep, he'll end up with the highest completion percentage record in a single season.
Beating himself again.
Yeah, 74%.
Which is
something
ridiculous.
unheard of. It's phenomenal. So
it's not like he's dinking and dunking; he's going deep.
Oh, I know, and he didn't. For one of the first times, he didn't surpass 4,000 yards.
I mean, was that fifth time?
I don't know.
The third time in 8 years.
But he didn't do it. He had 32 touchdowns.
That's a low number for him.
Yeah, but he didn't have to. He played well when he needed to be, and I think he's one of the more valuable players on that team. Sean Payton's good, but
obviously.
Yeah.
And then I'm looking down. We have a list up there. Phillip Rivers.
Yeah. Honestly, I
think Phillip Rivers has more of a case than Mahomes. I'm saying Mahomes has a better statistical season, but it's not the best player in the NFL. We could have a different podcast go on for an hour. Who's the best player in the NFL?
Yeah, for sure.
And we'd probably disagree on what makes you the best.
Right.
But value, what is Anthony Lynn's Chargers offensively without Phillip Rivers? I mean,
right. I mean, I don't know if we won't know for a while either.
We don't know, and I don't really want to find that thing out because I like the Chargers.
Yeah, but the thing is, you look at the injuries they had. Melvin Gordon was out for a couple.
Hunter Henry was out.
Hunter Henry's been out
since camp. He might come back.
Eckler got out.
And then Justin Jackson came in, who's been a phenomenal.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, just looking at it, they continue to win.
Yep.
Their defense is stellar. We knew that coming in.
Right. But
Joey Bosa, Melvin Ingram. You just keep.
But they have to score points offensively to win games.
Exactly. And Keenan Allen's on there, but Phillip Rivers is playing well, and that's as a most valuable player type. That's Phillip Rivers.
Yep.
Also looking at there's some other names.
Todd Gurley.
Gurley.
You want to see his value? Go back and watch the Bears game when he did not have a good game. The Rams,
even with C.J. Anderson just last week,
I mean,
went off. So I mean, you look at that and you think, well, is he really the MVP? So I'm not really considering Gurley really on this list.
I'll definitely put him up there for one of the better backs in the league.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
one of the more versatile players in the league.
He's not the most valuable player.
He was for earlier in the year, but then he kind of...
Right. It didn't end up being. And
maybe someone else on his team might take it in Donald.
And that's a possibility, with the defensive tackle. He's got 19 and a half sacks on the year.
From D-tackle.
Yeah, from a D-tackle. That's impressive. The thing is that Rams' defense is just so good all around that...
For as talented they are, I would think they'd be better sometimes.
Yeah. But, it's another thing where it's like, Donald is really good, but is he the most valuable player? And I don't know if I can give that to him.
Because he's a defensive player, or
because of the role he plays. He's applying pressure on every play, and I'm more likely to give it to a lineman than I am to a cornerback or safety.
You'd have to be Deion Sanders, basically.
Exactly. I mean, it's I don't know. He's not a game changer on every play. And the thing with the quarterbacks, it's hard to argue. They play every play.
You can't really play without a quarterback unless
exactly,
you go wildcat. Right. But another case for Donald is not just his statistics. It's the idea that if you don't double team him, you're an idiot.
I guess, yeah.
And the fact that
the teams look out for Donald.
Teams are like going, we're putting 2 guys on him. Okay, we'll put 2 guys on him. We'll get the ball out quickly, and we'll test Marcus Peters and Talib quickly. And when Donald's playing better and forcing you to get rid of the ball quicker, it means Marcus Peters can play better and Talib can play better.
Yeah.
So it kind of creates this positive spin cycle for the whole team.
That's true. And Andrew Luck is on there as well. I have him up there. I mean, I said this coming into the season that he's playing well. I mean, the thing is their offensive line is overhauled. They're much better. Their defense is
It's like they actually invested in the offentive line for the first time in 6
exactly.
years.
I would consider him in a
I wouldn't say
he's
I wouldn't bet him to win it.
No.
Does he deserve a lot of credit? Yes, absolutely. Has he had a great year? Comeback year? Pretty good. I don't know if I'd put him as MVP. I think he's more of comeback player of the year type.
Spoiler.
Spoiler alert. Ooh. But I don't really see him kind of taking that role. Kind of like moving down the list, we can talk about possibly Ezekiel Elliott maybe, because the Dallas train run him. And when he plays well, I mean, there's what is it, the statistic, like 8, they're almost 8. No, when he has like
when he's over 100 yards, yeah.
So, Garrett, why don't you run him all the time?
Yeah.
But so not to take all credit away from Dak Prescott and the fact that Amari Cooper came over and they made a completely different offense.
Exactly.
Who would have figured that you add an elite receiver, your team's going to get better? I don't know. But I think he adds a lot of value to that team because they now can control the clock, help their defense. So I think Elliott would be. I don't know if a running back's going to win it without doing like an Adrian Peterson type year.
Right, exactly.
Like was 2008 or 2009 he did that. Phenomenal.
That was phenomenal.
But kind of going down the list, then we have Hopkins, but I don't think this would be the year for him to win it because a couple of years ago he had that year with like 6 different quarterbacks.
Yeah, and he was doing really. I mean, that was
So I mean, not that he's a bad player. We can argue who's the best receiver in the league.
But anyway, I'm going. My pick for MVP is Drew Brees. Okay. He's the most valuable player. I mean, you look at his completions percentage. He does 32 touchdowns to 5 interceptions, and in one game, Mahomes had 5 turnovers. So, I mean, it's just, I'm looking at it, and I'm thinking, Brees is just the most valuable player.
You got to give him seniority. So, I would say Drew Brees 1A, Phillip Rivers 1B, Mahomes 2. That's kind of how I see it. And then Donald 3. And the thing is, it's sad that defensive players are kind of slighted in that way.
Yeah.
But Brees, it's his year. But the thing is, if Phillip Rivers was playing this any other year, give it to him. I mean, the way the Chargers have come back after and just the comeback in Pittsburgh, that was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And the fact that they also went into Kansas City.
Yeah, that was an incredible game.
I would give him the edge over Brees in the last couple of weeks. However, he also lost at home to Lamar.
He had a pretty rough start there, too.
That was a rough game. Really, Lamar, you had to do that to him? Really? But, yeah.
So your pick is Brees as well?
I would have to say, I'd have to agree with Brees.
Yeah.
He's got his team set up for a home field advantage to play in that dome. You got to go into New Orleans, beat Drew Brees and that defense to go to the Super Bowl. I'm not saying it's a lock for the Super Bowl, but I did pick New Orleans to win the Super Bowl, and it does look good.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. So we move on to the Offensive Player of the Year, and as I'm looking at this, I have to go Mahomes. The guy puts up incredible numbers on the offensive side of the ball, and that's I didn't skip a heartbeat here. Mahomes statistically is better than Drew Brees, but Brees is just more valuable. But at the same time, Mahomes is putting up incredible numbers. I mean, he's slinging the ball.
offensive player of the year, what's more valuable? What do you want more, statistics or value?
Both. I give it to Mahomes on the offensive player of the year.
If Gurley didn't get hurt, there's an argument.
Yep.
I don't think Luck has an argument for this because of the way where the team's located and some of the things that happened with the team. Elliott, Mahomes.
Yeah, Mahomes. Yeah. The thing is, he just puts up incredible numbers on offense, and I mean, he's got the flashy numbers to get the award,
right? But he's also got the plays, the look pass.
Oh my gosh,
the left-handed.
Yeah, I mean, it's the
left-hander.
Incredible.
You can see his baseball background coming through when he throws. So all that power and the accuracy, and also it's the fact that Tyreek Hill actually has a quarterback now that actually can utilize
that
can actually potentially overthrow him, which is really weird to say. I mean, Alex Smith is not a bad quarterback, but Alex Smith can't overthrow Tyreek Hill.
Right.
It'd have to be a miscommunication.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and so then
defensive.
We agree on the offensive side, and we go to the defensive side of the ball, and my defensive player of the year is Khalil Mack.
Okay.
And the thing is this guy comes into Chicago with Chicago as a losing record last year. They come in, and now they're the NFC North champs. And the guy's a monster. He's pushing linemen over with one arm. He just applies so much pressure. He's a game changer. And I have to give it to him just because of how much the defense changed with Mack coming. And maybe it was a coaching change too. I'm not sure. But I have to give it to Mack over Donald. Donald's obviously incredible. But Khalil Mack is just much more versatile. He can go into coverage as well. But Mack's a better playmaker.
See, you said playmaker. Now, what can you do when you can't step up into the pocket, when you can't run the football? To get double-teamed on almost all his snaps, to have 19.5 sacks from defensive tackle, which is an NFL record, by the way. Now, let's just talk about Mack for a second. To come over, be one of the better players, maybe the best player, pass rusher in the best pass rush conference in the AFC West, then to go over to the NFC North, make the Bears a playoff team. To do all that, that's phenomenal. And I think Mack's a phenomenal player. And I think he's more versatile. But the thing is, Donald can't be moved. Donald's a grown man, and he's dominant. And every week, teams are going, we have to double-team defensive tackle. When was the last time someone team was like, the scariest player we have to worry about is the guy looking straight in front of the quarterback, looking straight into his eyes. Not a linebacker, and he's going to come after you. So I like Mack. I think Mack's a phenomenal pass rusher. Mack scares a lot of people. And he's doing a lot of athletic things. But the idea of he take two players and to dominate them over and over and over again for a game and to allow pass rushers.
That's true. I see your argument with
to see
Aaron Donald
pass rushers not on the caliber of Mack, but to have success like that Rams-Chargers game where that guy had all those he had an interception, a forced fumble. So I like them both, but I think Aaron Donald's had a more incredible year.
And I respect that opinion because, like I said, the main reason I'm going with Mack here is just the impact he has had on this defense.
Right away. Okay.
The fact that they go from a losing record to NFC North champs.
Right.
That's where I'm at. And obviously Donald pulled up some incredible numbers every year. He's just phenomenal. You need to double team him, but I don't. It's just that defense is just so stellar anyway.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's where I'm at with
It's
that.
not like the Bears defense was a slouch with the Akeem
No,
Hicks and Eddie Jackson
for sure.
and Kyle Fuller and
Roquan,
and then Danny Trevathan and
yeah,
those boys. So they were, and then obviously Leonard Floyd out of Georgia.
Yeah.
So that defense was good, and they're playing in the cold, and Mack has got no problems with it. But I also want to give a shout out to Derwin James in LA. Just the versatility. And yeah, he comes in to have a team with already Melvin Ingram, Joey Bosa, and then to have those guys and then have Casey Hayward, obviously. But to come in as a rookie and to be arguably one of the better safeties, I want to say safety because you could play him at linebacker, and he's done some different things, but he's been very impressive. So. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so then we'll move to the Offensive Rookie of the Year. And And some of the candidates briefly, we've got Saquon Barkley,
obviously,
Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen, Josh Rosen, Lamar Jackson, Calvin Ridley, and Quentin Nelson are just some brief names.
I'll go first on this one.
Go ahead,
I want to jump onto this one. I'll let you have some time to think about this one. I love what Baker Mayfield's done with the Browns. I love it. I love the idea that he's bringing this mentality, this toughness, this idea that we can beat anybody, we can fight with anybody, and I think it's helped with Greg Williams' personality, the fact that we're not scared of anyone. I think that's what the Browns need. I'm not just disavowing the numbers he's put up. They're phenomenal. But you have to look, and I'm going to have to say, as much as I don't like the New York Giants, I don't like the personality, I don't like Beckham, Saquon Barkley, what he's done to make the awful Giants watchable, to make them entertaining, to put people in the stands to watch the horror film that Eli Manning has been this season. To say, listen, we could go with quarterback, we could take Sam Darnold, who's I think is a great player for the Jets. I think it's a good fit, and I hope he's successful. But to say, you know what, we're going to get the best player on the board at that time, which was Barkley, and to have Barkley basically try to do everything for that team. I mean, he's caught touchdown passes, he's blocked, he's obviously has rushing touchdowns, his speed is there, but I'm going to have to give it to Mayfield, because the Browns were in a worse state than the Giants were, which, I mean, 1A, 1B, they're both awful. But to do that to the city of Cleveland, especially after LeBron leaves, which is nothing Barkley has, he can't affect that. That's not. To come into that city and to give them a sense of hope, that's really special. So they're both great players. I mean, there's a lot of great players on this list that you could talk about. Rosen in Arizona, and then Lamar Jackson, Riley Ridley had 6 touchdowns to the point this year. Probably has more now. Lamar to come in, slighted at 32nd, the draft pick. And then Quentin Nelson to protect your guy, Andrew Luck. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to have to go with Mayfield.
And I respect that opinion. I mean, obviously, like you said, there's a lot of, bringing the team around. And I said a lot, I kind of compared that to what Mac did on the defensive side of the ball. Right. The only thing with Mayfield is the coaching change.
Midseason.
Really flipped a switch.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure, and I don't know if that was Baker. Is that Baker? Or is that... What is the true Baker? You know what I'm saying?
Is that were we seeing with Hugh true Baker or bad Baker with Hugh?
Right, exactly. That's the thing.
I think it's more good Baker, decent kitchen.
The point I'm getting to is Saquon is producing on this, like you said, terrible team.
Oh my goodness.
He's literally, he's essentially running without an offensive line.
He doesn't have an offensive line. He's got
they're trash cans. I mean, really.
No, trash cans can move people. They can slow things down.
But
when you open at a Black Friday where they just open the doors, that's what happens when Eli snaps the ball. And he's like, go figure it out, Barkley.
And like you said, he catches the ball, he runs the ball, he pass blocks. I mean, it's just everything. He has taken on the load of this team with Beckham being kind of injury prone.
The best quarterback on the team as well.
Yes, I mean, obviously Beckham's throwing passes to Barkley. So, I mean, it's obviously Beckham is the best thing for this team, and that's why I'm giving him Offensive Rookie of the Year. Like you said, Baker Mayfield also, great job, has really changed the culture in Cleveland, giving him hope for the future and all that, which is great. But this year, it's got to be Barkley. This guy came out, produced straight away. He's, third in rushing yards, and he's second in all-purpose yards. Second or third.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I think second to third to McCaffrey and Elliott.
Yeah.
And you just look at that, and as a rookie, that's phenomenal.
It's crazy.
We haven't seen really the most similar effect of this with Ezekiel Elliott back in 2016.
Right.
When Ezekiel Elliott came in.
But it's like you take the physicality of Elliott with the versatility of McCaffrey.
Exactly. And Barkley's just a beast.
You put him in a lab together, and he's like, that shouldn't work, but it does. And the Giants have been awful, but he's been great.
Yeah, and like you said, he makes the Giants watchable.
And he doesn't
especially
have
with Beckham out,
diva personality.
No, he doesn't. He's really
a quiet guy.
Yeah.
He's a quiet guy. He's a likable guy.
Yeah, and so that's why I'm giving Offensive Rookie of the Year to Barkley, and I can see how you give it to Mayfield as well.
Okay.
As we move on to Defensive Rookie of the Year, I have some comments on this one. Because
I
obviously
don't want to touch this one because there's not a good. There's great answers.
Yes. And I don't.
But you could also get exposed for saying, well, you picked him, but you didn't pick him. How could you?
Right, and the thing here that I'm going with is I see really three main candidates here.
Who are your candidates?
I'm looking at Derwin James, safety from LA. Came out of the gate. He's just playing phenomenal. Darius Leonard, Colts linebacker, is leading the league in tackles. The guy's flying around the field.
He's beating Kuechly, which is that's a true breed.
Yeah, and then Leighton Van Der Esch. Leighton Van Der Esch is incredible for the Cowboys with Sean Lee going out on injury and coming in and stepping up.
Can we cut this award into a couple pieces here?
But here's the thing is I don't think Van Der Esch will get the award because he didn't play the entire.
Right.
He didn't start many games, and as much as I'd want to give it to him because he has almost as many tackles as Leonard and Kuechly and all that in less games.
Right.
He just hasn't been there for them in that time. So, that being said, I got to give the award to Darius Leonard because he's really changed the culture there in Indy. He leads the league in tackles. Like you said, he's beating Kuechly.
Which is, it's usually Kuechly's award. You just kind of...
Right. I mean, Darius Leonard obviously has been with the biggest impact here. Derwin James has been playing phenomenal. But for me, Darius Leonard kind of swooped in. Derwin James, was top 10 pick or something like that. Playing super well. I just got to give it to Leonard because he leads the league in tackles, and he changed around that horrendous Colts defense and somehow made them good again.
Right.
Which is great because now the Colts are playoff contenders.
Fringe playoffs.
Well, they're contending to get into the playoffs. Right, okay. I'm not saying they're in the playoffs.
Right,
they have to get there. But the fact that, Andrew Luck comes back and then he gets a middle linebacker, it's just the pieces connected for the Colts this year. And Darius Leonard was a huge part of that, so that's why I'm giving Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, it's a nice story, but I got to go to Bradley Chubb. And the reason you're going to go he thought maybe he could be the first overall pick and go to Cleveland. Well, maybe he can go to the Giants. No, the Broncos, he fell to the Broncos because teams needed quarterbacks. What does he do? He shows up to an already pretty good defense that has lost some pieces at the time. They would lose a keep to leave to the Rams in free agency. But to come in and then live up to the last great pass rusher that stood across from Von Miller, who happened to be DeMarcus Ware, to help get pressure off Von of saying, okay, Von, you're the only person that's going to bring pressure. Let me help you do that. Let me get multiple sack games. Let me be maybe the best rookie. I mean, he's putting up he's starting to look like a young Khalil Mack type player. And Leonard is more of a versatile linebacker. He's not pass rushing as much. But to be saying, well, this guy is good. He's going wait a second. We don't really want to double team Mack. We don't want to double team Von Miller exclusively because we have to worry about Chubb. It helps their whole defense get better. It was a futile effort because the Broncos weren't going to the playoffs with Keenum. They just weren't winning enough. But I do think he helped their defense a lot because they have to. Like I said, now they can't really double team anymore. But the idea he can drop into coverage. He can be coverage linebacker. I wouldn't leave him on a wide receiver, but I wouldn't leave many linebackers on a wide receiver. But the idea that he comes in, lives up to expectations, and exceeds them. Because where was Leonard picked? He was picked early. He's pretty early, but I wouldn't say he's like a top 5, top 6 pick. He was a top 5, top 6 pick, and he exceeds those expectations. So I'm going to have to give it to Chubb.
That's fair. I mean, there's a lot of really good defensive rookies this year. The defensive class was
maybe the best ever.
Really good. Yeah, the quarterbacks, maybe those people that were drafting quarterbacks, maybe they're thinking maybe we should have gone defense. But that's in the past. And as we move to the past, we're talking about the comeback player of the year. And I got to give this to Andrew Luck.
Yep.
Obviously, case closed.
Case closed, yeah. Move on.
I mean, the fact that you just look at it, he's slinging 3+ touchdowns for, 8 straight games?
No, let's compare it to his competition. Beckham, what's his argument? What's the argument for Beckham?
He really hasn't produced that much this season. He's Eli Manning, but he's also a receiver, so that's part of the whole game.
Deshaun Watson.
But he's not putting up the numbers Luck is.
That he was last year. If it was Deshaun Watson from last year, came back, nothing happened.
Yeah.
J.J. Watt, great story, but no. Not his year. He's
Aaron Rodgers?
No, don't even start with me on Aaron Rodgers.
Jalen Smith, maybe.
Maybe.
He's playing super well, but I don't
he also
know how
has
much
Van Der Esch next to him.
Demarcus Lawrence. I mean, it's
Carson Wentz got injured again.
Yeah.
He looked great when he was on the field, but then Nick Foles shows up like nothing happened.
And now he's slinging exactly. So, I got to give it to Andrew Luck and you as well. And then Coach of the Year,
Matt Nagy.
Mine is Matt Nagy as well. I mean, the fact is, he's working with Mitch Trubisky.
Hey, be nice to him.
No, I'm gonna be. Matt Nagy has set up a great system that's very college-like for Mitch Trubisky.
Yes.
And I think he's looking Mitch Trubisky look better than he actually is. That being said, their defense is stellar, phenomenal,
ridiculous.
Matt Nagy brings, like I said this with the Mac argument earlier. Matt Nagy brings a losing record team, to NFC North champions, and they clinched the 3 spot.
Remember, the Packers fell off this year. The Lions are in the middle of rebuilding.
They have been for the last 20 years.
Okay, like they're serious rebuild right now going on in Detroit. The Vikings fell off, so that kind of leaves the door open for the Bears. Not to take anything away from Matt Nagy.
Correct.
But we got to look at Andy Reid to have that offense to go from Alex Smith to Mahomes, to have the confidence to do that, and to have no drop off but to improve.
That's true.
Sean Payton to continue to do this machine in New Orleans, this offensive juggernaut.
Yep.
And then I'm surprised Anthony Lynn's not on more people's charts.
Yeah.
To do that in LA, in that division with generally the Broncos are pretty good, with Kansas City, to make those calls to keep his team together. But I'd have to say Matt Nagy. I do think Anthony Lynn deserves a lot of credit, especially he's also with the guy in Indianapolis.
Right, yeah.
Right. To say, okay, we're technically rebuilding, but let's be competitive. Let's fight. So.
And obviously you got to look at Sean McVay too, but they've had a really couple rough games lately.
Yeah, that's why I didn't give it to Sean McVay.
Yeah, that's the thing. And Matt Nagy's been consistently good on defense. The play calling is just great. It's imaginative. It's creative. It just works for them, and that's why
he's putting his players in the best opportunities to win games, which you have to do as a head coach. There's certain things that you can take away from Andy Reid, like the blown lead to the LA Chargers. Which how much of that is his fault? How much of that is his players?
Yeah.
Depends what you want to see. So yeah.
Yeah. So that concludes our awards.
Long
awards.
Long recap of who we think deserves each award.
Yep. So. Yeah, we went quite into detail. I think that sounded pretty good.
Yeah, some agreement, some disagreement.
That's usual. Okay. Yeah, that's what makes it good. So yeah, this was our first video in a while. We're gonna do some playoff stuff later too, probably later today. But we will pump out a playoff video, our predictions, kind of thoughts on the playoffs, and some other stuff too. So thanks for watching, and have a nice day.